Good morning, guys. Hope you're having a great day, great morning. So the last 3 days on SPY, right, including the last fourth day, right here, this candle. But the last 3 days, SPY has closed below the opening price. What do I mean by that? The price which opened, SPY opened at, like for example, here on 8th October, SPY opened at the top near 439. It closed lower, and then same thing here on 11th October. SPY opened up here, went all the way up, and then closed lower. Same thing yesterday, opened, gapped up, and then gave up gains and closed lower. Now today, after 3 days or 4 days of downward pressure, do we go dip again and then close green, maybe a reversal to the upside, like the way they just make these little candles, or do we stay below 430, right? We did have the CPI numbers. One thing you guys need to understand, right now, the only thing that matters when certain data comes out is the jobs report mainly, right? But CPI, PPI number, all these numbers, they did matter in the pandemic when things were very unstabilized. There was a lot of volatility, and not just in the markets, but in people's life also, right? So these numbers now are always going to be in line, maybe by 2-3% up and down, right? But these numbers will usually be in line because the estimates are usually so accurate, right? So they're already priced in. So CPI this morning, to me, it didn't matter because I already knew, or I mean, based on the trend, that it will be in line. Right now, tomorrow, obviously, if America shuts down for 3-4 days or it goes on lockdown, that's when these numbers will fluctuate. But now, if the economy is open, stability will be there, right? So these numbers are not a surprise. They will usually be in line because they're pretty accurate with their measures. The only thing that matters to us now is, do we hold 430 or do we test these lows right here? But again, it's in this little chop zone. This area will be very hard to trade, right? Because it's just in no man's land. It's just holding levels. That's what it's doing. It's been holding above 430. That's what SPY has been doing. So let's see how long it holds, right? Maybe we just continue holding in this area and then we rip back up. Who knows? Or we dip, right? 424.97 weakness. Above 440 towards 44, we see strength, right? And if I'm waiting if we can get 444 for a confirmed full size put play that I will probably make a trade on. Qs. Same thing as SPY, very similar action, right, price-wise. Same thing, in a chop zone, just avoid. If you're playing, go small. The key in this market will be playing small size, right? We repeat this every day. We've been repeating for the last few weeks. If you're playing small size, you will be stress-free. Even if you're wrong, you will still survive in this market, right? One full-size play will cover all your losses, even if your small size is going to a loss, okay? Financials, JPM kicks off earnings today. Great earnings. They beat their EPS, earnings per share. They beat their revenues also above estimates. And now, where do we go? This is XLI financials. Our numbers were still, if you remember, 3860 is a must hold. And we need through 39 and hold for an uptrend. Okay? For an uptrend. So JPM started. We have two tomorrow banks. Goldman Sachs on Friday, and tomorrow I think we have Bank of America and Morgan Stanley, if I'm not wrong. XLR 3860 is must hold. Right now it's failing, as you guys can see, right? It's just trading right there. I think pre-market is at 3860, but and through 39 we need a solid hold. So if we can get something like this on financials here, just chop around and it gets above 39 and it ends up holding this level for 1-2 days, a nice little uptrend should start technically. JPM, nothing big pre-market, right? First day went lower then higher, but it's just opening up flat. Banks usually don't make big moves on earnings, very small movers, 1%, 2% maybe, right? So I'm gonna let the price settle, let the premium settle, and see if we get an entry on banks. But JPM, they beat the earning, which is a good for us, right? Economy is more stabilized, they said, and so let's see. As long as we continue holding about 165 on JPM, we do see higher, but I do see JPM going lower first before it goes higher. I do see 154, 155 zone first, right? Because banks did run up a lot. If you zoom out to the monthly, banks had a nice little run past months, and they're not just gonna keep on running, right? So they already had a nice little run from the pandemic. They are all pretty much doubled. So here we will see some sideways consolidation for many months, I believe. And then somebody asked for fuel cell. This is a monthly chart, which looks, I believe it started from here, if I'm not wrong. So fuel cell, FCEL. Let's go to the weekly. So this pattern you'll see on many stocks. This pattern right here you'll see on many stocks, which in early, December, Jan, Feb, those 3 months were golden for many people. A lot of money was made. We made a lot of money, right? Gave some back to the market. Obviously in March, April, going, stayed a little heavy, but nice little bull flag back here in December 2020, and then reality hit. Valuations were too high, and then obviously a lot of stocks gave up gains. Right, many stocks are charts which you open up. So this stock literally crashed from trading of 28, and now it's at $6. Right, got cut down completely. The only good thing here is holding this 550 base level. So it's been holding this level right here. And for me to play this name, I would wait before it gets above the 200 moving day average. If it can hold about $7, 730, I'd probably buy leaps. Right, so if you're listening, above 7 hold is a must, and I would buy a lot of time before playing this name. Do you know why? If we go on the daily chart, I'll just show you guys something. This is happening with a lot of stocks in the market right now. What they're doing is they're building strong bases on the dips. This can continue going lower again for another 3 months. So you want to buy yourself time in case if it does dip lower. Now what's happening in the market, one thing that I came across, right? You guys need to understand a lot of stocks in the market have peaked, they gave up gains, and then they're holding this base. And what they're doing is they're making stocks break this base, right? I mean, you can compare with other charts. They break this down, they hold it here, and all these people that were called short-term options based on these spikes or nice little setups, or right, that thing is going to go up. They're flushing them out, and they're causing panic in the market. And then people holding leaves, they're exiting, and then they're taking it right back up in the coming weeks. This is something that might happen. All right, this happened last year when I was with T. We caught Tilray. They did the same thing here, and this chart also similar action as you can see. What they're doing is basically so just listen to this very carefully. They're breaking down these huge support levels. They're flushing it down, and they're causing short-term pain for people, right? And same thing they did here last year, right? We were in this name, and we were long in 2020. Right, they did the similar thing here. What they did was basically they flushed below these support levels, right? They flushed people, and I was very heavy in Tilray. I ended up selling some of my position there because I thought it was gonna go to ship. Like that's what I felt at that time. Right, I was a little heavy, but I still held some, and then later on they just completely ripped it back up. All right. Now I'm not saying the same thing is happening here, but it's just a pattern that I see happening on many names. They flush people lower, and then boom, in the coming weeks, some news are gonna hit, and we might see this back all the way near 1720. Right, so that's the reason in Tilray I went 2023. All right, so 2023 leaps I have. So in short term, if I do feel a pain, that's fine. Maybe I'll average down later. Okay. So they might even take this all the way to $9, make people, especially make shorts happy. Longs will panic a little bit because the premiums will go down, and then boom, one-time rip. Apart from that, we bought Facebook yesterday. It was nothing but a pure technical play for me, right? Just comments. Something I thought from 384 all the way down to 318. Even if it wants to go to 200, I don't care what it does. But I'm just trading this name, right? Long term, I'm bullish on Facebook in the coming years, obviously. But here for me, it was nothing but a trade, just trying to catch this $10 move. And this was one of the best setups I saw because here a lot of people were selling. We bought exactly right here, and our calls went from a 215 to 325 yesterday. Right, today is opening of pre-market. If we hold 325, I do think that we hit our zone right here, 330. It's up to you how you manage this trade now. We gave you a winning trade. At 330, I will sell my position. And the good thing is that we do have earnings. So at 330, they might add a lot of premium. We should get more than a double on our calls. Okay, we were already up 55% yesterday. So Facebook at the open, it will be high. Sometimes at the open, they fill you at the ask. All right, if the ask is like 350, they will probably fill you right at the open. So manage your positions. See if you want to hold it. And I just bought myself earnings time to be on the safe side. And apart from this, Hubs, a name which has been getting a lot of attention lately, and many upgrades today. I was seeing a lot of mentions on Twitter, right, and then some news I was following, and it's just a crazy little uptrend. Let's look at the weekly chart, not in the daily. Nothing but a nice little uptrend from here, and it's just been going. To me, it looks extended, but again, it can continue even going to 1,000. Who am I to say it's too extended if the price keeps going up? The only pattern I see is big rips, consolidates, big rips, consolidates, big rips, consolidates, big rips, like consolidates, little bull flags. Does the same thing happen here for a few weeks? So don't get caught. Maybe you might catch the strength. If you catch it, premiums will be crazy jacked because of the nice little uptrend, increased IV, right? And just have a tight stop on this. The market, when all these upgrades start coming in all at the same time, that basically is a sign that they want to, the institutions might want to offer some shares for some time. All right, so the retail investors or people who don't know, they get stuck buying it at the top from these people, and then the stock just goes sideways, even dips, right? So institutions usually, when they come together with all these upgrades, for short term is good. When the coming weeks, it's usually a bearish sign to me because they're offloading their shares. All right, keep it in mind. Twitter, another name I'm keeping an eye on. For me, on the weekly chart, for nothing, it's just holding this nice little range. And then if we go on the monthly, and this month, if we do happen to even close like this, for me is bullish as long as we close above the $61 level this month, and our leaps should pay, in my opinion. Right? They were up nice before. Obviously now they're a little bit down, like 10%, which is fine. I mean, they're 2023 leaps, but Twitter gets above 65 plus hold, and as soon as it gets 72, keep this name on your radar. Put your alerts on. Maybe it happens this month, maybe next month, maybe in 6 months. I don't know. But when this number is achieved once again, this will be a first scale in. Right? You buy small, and then as soon as it hits 72, you start paying attention to this name because you do want to catch this move 75 to 100, which will be fast. Remember, from 75 hold, if Twitter gets 100, will be very fast, right? So just keep an eye on this name. Snap looks great on the weekly, but again, it's been acting much better than Facebook and Twitter in the last few months on a nice little run. Trying to hold the levels here, and as long as we can continue holding this level where it's at right now, at least 75. If we continue holding 75, we'll likely see back towards the highs here. Right, and I don't use Snapchat a lot, but if you do use Snapchat a lot, they have a lot of good features. And then they're just the way they're advertising on it or making their content, I think is great, and a lot of young people are hooked onto it. I used to be hooked onto it, but no more, just don't have the time. And Bitcoin stocks also, guys, keep an eye on. Muster on the monthly, nice little bull flag. This thing can make a $300-400 move once it gets out. Right, from 710, if it just continues holding these levels, expect this zone 1000 to be achieved. And you know what, if you're making a lot of gains and stuff and you're bullish on crypto, you can even buy equity in this name from 700. Let's say you put in $7,000, it goes to $1,000. That's a $3,000 gain. It's just sitting, right? And then you can use the margin power to trade options. Only if you know how to manage your account. All right, a little advanced, but a lot of money to be made here. Right, we took our profits. Let me go on a daily. I scaled out my positions, right, and some of you guys with small accounts, managing is the trickiest part. Your position was almost up 100%. You still don't sell, and then you sell at a break even. Fine, you manage for you as a learning experience. But when we enter the position right here, I told you guys 28 is my target. It went above 28. That was bonus. This was a trade. I scaled out. I took my profits. I'm still holding 1/3, right, which I'm okay with, and I'm just gonna give it some time, and maybe we will test 28 plus again. If not, I'll sell it and I'll still lock my entire position with profits, right? So managing depends on your daily, weekly, monthly performance on your account. You really have to understand managing numbers. It's not something I can teach. I can only just talk about it, but it's based on your own psychology, your own account, which you have to learn. You learn managing numbers in this market, you will not go wrong. If you don't make money, at least your account will go down. Right? Remember that. And then you just need 2-3 good weeks in the market in 1 year, and boom, you nail it. With this, we'll end it. See you guys back in the chat.